Hello, this is my team, Fernando, Constanza, and me, Eugenio. And we are going to debate about the existence of God.
To start this, I would like to start with a quote from Friedrich Nietzsche. It goes like this: God is death, God remains death, and we have killed him. I really like this quote because it talks about the death of God and that we are the culprits of this act. This means that we have killed him a long time ago or in recent times during all of the mass genocides and terrible acts that humanity has been through. And I also think that if God exists, he should have let himself to be known to all humankind so we can know that he exists and so that he can stop all the unfair things and bad things that happen all over the world.
My point of view is that God exists. I consider myself as a very curious person, and since I was little, I have believed in the existence of the God and the evil because we need a independent balance. Likewise, Pascal's bet said that although it isn't know for sure if God exists or not, the most rational thing would be to bet that yes, it is, because you can believe in God and if it exists, then you will go to heaven. You can believe in God, and if it doesn't exist, then you won't gain anything. And if you believe and doesn't exist, you don't win and lose anything.
I am against the belief that God exists. And one of my reasons is that if you're asked who created us and you answer God, then you're only creating another question instead of answering the first question. You are creating the question that says, then who created God? And I think that the first question can be answered with science and with some of the scientific advances we have discovered. And that's my main reason.
To start with the discussion, I would like to share a quote I really like from a video game. It goes like this: everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse or some kind of punishment? I often think about the God who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle. I wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him. With this quote, I really can sense the idea of that life is a question, and a question that it isn't really easy to answer, and also that life can be considered a curse or a punishment by some people, but it is upon us to believe or change that belief in ourselves. And Connie, what do you think about the quote that I just said?
I consider that life is a gift from an omnipotent God that we have, and that is why we have to value and preserve it. Each one is special in their own way because God created us in a unique way, and that gives us a sense of belonging.
Yes, you said that God is omnipotent, and I have two arguments that make me think that he isn't. The first one is that if he is omnipotent, he should be able to create an object so heavy that he wasn't able to move it. But then, if he's not able to move an object he created, then he's no longer omnipotent. That's my first argument. And the second one is that there are people that doesn't believe in God. And that means that he isn't able to make everyone believe in him. So he isn't omnipotent. But if, like, you could say it's because we have free will in believing what we want. But isn't God supposed to know the future of us, what's going to happen like tomorrow in 1 year? And then if that's true, we wouldn't have free will and he wouldn't be omnipotent.
Responding about what Connie said, I really agree with the statement that you said about that God gives us a sense of belonging or being. And I understand this, and I understand why people are so religious that they they make their lives all about religion. But I think that there are other ways of giving meaning to a life. The thing is that if you're an atheist, you don't have that meaning of God in your life. So sometimes you can be led into a zone of dread or depression in sometimes, but depends on what you do on your life. It's what it gives it meaning, and depending on the person, it's what keeps you going. The other thing about this theme about God is that there's a thing called nihilism, and with this there is the belief that life has no meaning, God is dead, and nothing that you do in your life has a meaning, nor it will affect after you die. So this is a really black and white way to see the world, because either you enjoy it or it doesn't mean anything to you. That's why some people say that the only way to win an argument over a nihilist is by killing him, because he doesn't care about him nor the world nor the argument. But that is just a really long stream. And with this about the nihilism, it can also be linked to depression. And it is said that people that think of nihilism as their main ideology, people think that they are depressed, but this isn't always right, because a feeling of dread nor belonging or the you wanting to be alive, it's different from just not thinking that anything it's worth doing or it has meaning. This is because in one extreme you are on the deepest or on the deepest hole in your life, and on the worst part of your life. And on the other part, you are simply seeing everything on an objective manner, thinking that it doesn't mean at all. And with this, I think that nihilism is a really interesting ideology. I don't think that I am a complete nihilist, but it's really interesting to think that nothing matters. But I believe that to give meaning to life, you have to find it yourself.
I believe that the omnipotence of God is more than anything a moral way of seeing and thinking about how God exists in all of us. Also, I think that God generates our sense of belonging because it gives us the ability to think what we want and find something that we can identify with the most to live a full life as we want. With all this, I consider myself like a sensitive person who likes to listen the opinion of the other people, and we can conclude that we all have a different point of view, perspective, and that is fine because we are all different humans and we all deserve respect.